And we are back with another episode on Across the Board. It is Wednesday night. I'm so happy to have Jaden back joining us. It was a very lonely Tuesday night recording, but it is great to have you back. Tell you what, man, I know this episode is not on college basketball, okay? But I think it's fair to mention that come Monday, it will be a very proactive episode.
Yeah, it will be. That's for sure. And we haven't even gotten to the weekend yet, so.
I can only imagine. And then college baseball has been really exciting too. Just a bunch of great stuff around the sports world. But with that being said, today we're going to talk about Pebble Beach, recap Collin Morikawa's amazing win, and then we're going to preview the Genesis Invitational, another signature event. Back-to-back signature events. We love to see that. And with that being said, I say we just go and hop right into it. How does that sound to you, Jaden?
Yeah, we can take a look at Collin Morikawa's win this last week at Pebble Beach Pro Am. Great tournament. Great to watch. I honestly kind of wish the weather was a little worse, just to see more fun out there. But
it was though. I tell you what, that weather was interesting to see. I do wish it was kind of a little more fun, but this week's going to be interesting. We haven't gotten there yet, but I'm telling you, going into this week, I got some interesting stuff for you. But this week, I did make really more just statements, more of notes I got from this week. First and foremost, I think this is obvious to every human being on planet Earth that watches golf. Okay, Scotty Scheffler's never out of a golf tournament. Okay, I think we should all just soak that in. I'm making sure we all understand this concept that when is Scotty ever out of a golf tournament?
never.
Yeah, he really isn't.
I think he showed that again this week. It's back-to-back weeks. He's started off terrible. 2 over a couple weeks ago, and then even this last week, and then he placed second, and obviously tied fourth this week. I don't understand how he does it. He is
He's one of the,
I don't know, quite the golfer to say the least.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mean, he's obviously, there's a reason why he's number one in the world, because you just see how he never is completely out of an event. And man, 9 under last round, could have been more than that. It just missed some putts, and man, he had a chance. Honestly, in that 8-iron shot in the last, I think it was an 8-iron, wasn't it? 8-iron shot in the last hole.
I want to say so.
Incredible, especially against the wind that was blowing off the water there, and he sticks it to 3 feet and makes eagle to get him to 20, which at that point was tied for the lead. So, man, but he was 7 under. He was 6 under. No, he was 7 under through 7 holes with 2 eagles, and it's just. I mean, when you see that, when the guy's at the top of the leaderboard and you see that, it's. I mean, it's got to scare them a little bit. I mean, obviously he didn't win this week, but still, I think at that point you just got to be aware that he's still back there. He's still there somewhere and can still make a run at any point. So, yeah, even though he didn't win, it's another perfect example of why he is world number one and why he does win so much and how he's never out of it.
Yeah. I want to add a stress mirror that usually never happens on this video and whatnot, but I kind of wanted to ask, I guess, are you kind of concerned over the past 2 weeks with Scotty's starts? Like, as in him being able to win the amount of tournaments that he can? Like, because it's great that what he's able to do on Sunday and the weekend, and there's no surprise. We know he can do that. But, this weekend, it took him a 9 under round on Sunday to get him up top back that leaderboard. Can Scotty do that every weekend on a Sunday? Most likely, yes. But, I feel like that is a lot to ask for every weekend to put up a 9 under to get yourself atop a leaderboard. I mean, are you kind of concerned with his starts on the first day, or are you kind of just blowing it off like not really?
I'm not concerned. You're talking about the player with the best run that people compare since Tiger. I mean, it's not. Uh, yeah, he's had some letdowns in the first 2 rounds, but I put it this way, and I think everybody's looked at it the same: is that if he just has a mediocre first round, he wins both these golf tournaments by a million. And I mean,
Yeah,
Scotty can
that
do that. Like, that's not. I don't think there's any concern there. I think these last 2 weeks, um, it just things didn't go his way in the first 2 rounds that he really wanted them to go. I know in this first round, I think he was like dead last in strokes gained putting, and for the first round, and like I mean, couldn't make a putt, couldn't really do much.
yeah,
I mean,
he wasn't even really
he
playing
has, huh?
good. I was gonna say he wasn't really playing bad. I want to say when he got to hole 6, with the back bunker there, that's kind of where I'm correct. I think that's where his round turned around. There, he had a. I mean, it was like 129, I believe. It was a little wedge shot,
Mm-hmm.
and he flew into the back bunker. And kind of after that, he really wasn't able to get any rhythm going back in that first round. It was just
Yeah.
something
Again,
noted.
I don't think it's like I don't think it's as much of a concern just because of the fact of we've seen what he can do Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And if he just puts up, and he's never been the strongest first round guy. I mean, he doesn't lead the tour in first round leads. I mean, usually when you see Scotty, yes, he is leading come the weekend, but the first round he's not always on top of the leaderboard. Um, I don't know how many wire to wire wins he's had, but it's not that much because you just don't see him that often. Uh, if he can play Saturdays and Sundays as good as we know Scotty can play Saturdays and Sundays, like we just said, it doesn't matter what position he's in, he can still have a chance. And so maybe, just had some difficulties these last 2 weeks in the first rounds. Couldn't really make anything. Wasn't really having got anything in a rhythm. Again, it's the third. What? No, it's the fourth tournament of the year he's played in. I mean, he's already won once. I'm not. I'm not concerned about him. I think he'll get it figured out. Even if it is this week first round, it's mediocre. I mean, still, if it's a couple under par, Scotty's still dead in it. Doesn't matter.
Yes.
We've seen it.
Yeah.
So I'm not. I'm not too concerned. I think he'll figure it out. He's good enough golfer to do that.
For sure. And again, it was just something I noted. I mean, again, I'm not really concerned either. It's one of those things, that it's just kind of noted in your head.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see going forward. And I mean, he's still again showing everybody why he's the world number one. But Akshay could not finish it off in the second round, or not in the second round, the final round. Just how you can get really anything going in that second round this weekend.
Yeah, he didn't. He didn't have anything going for him. Putting was the big deal for him in the last round. He
He missed a lot
placed,
of key putts.
yeah, 63rd in strokes gained putting for the fourth round. Can't do that if you want to win. He didn't really play ultimately like bad. He just a couple of shots got him out of position on a few holes. Didn't have a chance to take advantage of the holes that he should have took advantage of. Um, and then again, he couldn't really make any putts. And when you can't do that, especially for someone like Akshay, who I mean, he's good before the green, but he's had his struggles on the greens. Other than Collin winning this week, I think he was the highest in the top 10 in strokes gained putting, and he usually doesn't putt. He's not the best putter. We've seen he's had his struggles on the putting green. We've seen him have amazing success on the putting green as well. But it's kind of a back and forth deal with him. When he's on, he is hard to beat, and he'll shoot these low numbers, and he'll lead golf tournaments like he does, like he did going into the round 4. but when he does putt bad, like we saw Sunday, it does become really hard for him to close out a golf tournament and or put a really good round out there. And I mean that goes for everybody, but specifically Akshay. Um, yeah, he didn't really have anything going for him in the last round. Sad to see. Really wanted him to kind of complete it and round it off. Had every chance to do so, as we still know. I mean, he shot even and only lost by 3. I mean, he had it. He had a chance in that golf tournament. Hopefully, we'll see. Well, not just hopefully, we will see him back up at the top of the leaderboard at some point this year. It could be this week, could be, a month or so down the road. We'll see him back up there. We'll see if he can get another win under his belt for this year.
For sure. I mean, again, that putter, man, that putter got him. But we'll see going forward for him. Again, I mean, great golf. I think he's got a bright future ahead of him. I think he really does. He's a very young player. So, again, we'll see what he can do. And then, of course, the big news, not even news, it is news, really. Morikawa, first win since 2023 in October.
Yeah, it's been a while.
847 days, I want to say, was the number.
Yeah, it's been a while.
He,
I mean,
he was not really talked. I would say has been talked about a lot this year. I don't think. And then he had just a surging third round at 10 under. He closed out the final round strong. Had a terrifying shot on 17. That ball did not cut. I would say a lot of golfers' biggest fear is the double cross. Did not go out well. Did not play well. However, made a clutch birdie on 18 to close out the deal. We talked about this week. A good iron game was required to play this golf course.
mm-hmm.
Well, here's some numbers for you. He was first in strokes gained approach to green.
Yes.
He was first in strokes gains total, second in green regulations, and then he was tied for fourth in driving accuracy. Again, the big number there, clear as day, or two of them really. The first in strokes gained approach to green, and second green in regulation. That was required this week to play well, and he answered the call with those numbers there. Love to see what he's able to do, and he honestly did not putt well this week. I believe he's one of the bottom in the fields in strokes gained putting.
He was 44th, right in the middle.
You're right in the middle. I think it was Saturday, or I'm trying to remember what day it was. He was at one of the bottoms. Either way, he had a great week, a great weekend, really, closing down the stretch. There were a bunch of notable names, though. You had Ricky Fowler up top of leaderboard. Jacob Bridgman was up there. It was funny. I think during the final round, I heard a number. He was, besides Highsmith, he was almost dead last in fairways hit. He was just ahead of Joe Highsmith.
Who?
Jacob Bridgman.
Oh, yeah.
And I had a slight flashback because when they said that number, he was leading the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a little flashback to the WM with Hideki.
Yeah.
And then I was like, well, this ain't going to end well. And it didn't. Still had a great week, though. But, of course, the big story, Collin, what an amazing week for him.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, we said it would require, obviously, to be accurate this week because you had to hit greens out there. They're the smallest greens on the tour, and out of all courses they play. And so it was going to be required to hit the greens or make a ton of putts. And this week, obviously, like you said, Morikawa wasn't the best on the greens. He was 44 with the strokes gained putting, but he had a good last round putting, and he putted solid in the last round, which for him to close it out. But he was really accurate, like you said. He just we've always known that Morikawa is one of the best ball strikers on tour. He's one of the best iron players, in the world, and he showed that this week. I think people forget that he is a 2-time major champion. He has won majors. He's halfway to a Grand Slam. I mean, he's not somebody that's just at the bottom of the list. He hasn't had his best stuff in the past, couple of years, but he is one of those greatest, he is one of the best golfers on the tour. When he puts it together, he can beat anybody. And so we saw this week. I mean, he played great. This course kind of fit him in the way that, you needed to be a great ball striker, and that's what he was. And he made the putts he needed to make down the stretch. He hit shots that he needed to hit down the stretch, especially on 18, having to sit there for 20, I think it was 20 minutes in the fairway, and wait for Bridgman to finish up ahead of him, and stand over a 4-iron shot for that long, and bang, he puts it on the green and makes an easy birdie. So, I mean, he did what he needed to do, and I think this will carry him kind of towards, the whole year. I think this will kind of propel him to maybe having another great year. Like you said, this is 874 days, or so that first time he's won. I mean, we haven't seen the Collin Morikawa we saw a couple years ago when he was winning golf tournaments, winning majors, and just always at the top of the leaderboard. I think this propels him to kind of be that way this year, and I think we could easily see another year like that coming from him. And I think people need to watch out maybe come major times and the courses they're playing this year that he could be somebody that could definitely win another one. So great showing for him. And yeah, great win.
Yeah. Before we get to the closeout and go to the preview, I have to ask, what was Siwoo Kim doing on the 18th? Did he really expect that ball to actually keep rolling, or what was he? Did you see where he, like, I think they were sitting on 18 green for how long was it? Like, I don't remember the time, but based on Saturday, I believe Akshay and them were behind Siwoo, and they were waiting. The winds were blowing, and Siwoo was saying his ball was moving or waiting for his ball to move, and they stood there for a solid I don't know how long.
I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I really don't have an answer for that one.
Anyway, it was weird. It was a long. It was something special. Just know that. All right. After all that shenanigans, let's go ahead and start preview for the Genesis Invitational this week.
Yep.
Your past winners: Ludwig Oberg at -12, and Hideki at -17 the year before. Some names in the field this week, a lot of them really, but you got Scotty, Rory, Matsuyama, Fleetwood, Morikawa, Knapp, Fitzpatrick, Schauffele, and that list can probably go on for as long as you feel like you want to go on for. Got you a weather report this week. Okay? On Thursday, you got a high of 53 and a low of 38. Heavy chance of rain, wind blowing up to 16 miles an hour. Friday, high of 55, low of 38, possible rain, wind at 8 miles an hour. On Saturday, high of 61, low of 44, possibility for more rain, wind at 6 miles an hour. On Sunday, high of 66, low of 48, possible rain and wind 7 miles an hour. So, interesting conditions this week, for sure.
Yeah.
Some notes I get going this week about this golf course. Number one, driving distance is going to be a huge part this week. Got to be a little long off the tee. That's one of the big things at Riviera. That's right, yeah, Riviera. That's going to be required to play this course. Number
Mm-hmm.
two, strokes games approach. You got to have a good iron game going into this week. Uh, Number three, strokes gained around the green. Got to get up and down, got to scramble. Some good ones at it. And then number four, strokes gained putting. I mean, honestly, all these big factors going into this week, but those are some notable ones. What are your thoughts going this week at Riviera?
Well, I think with the weather that you said, obviously Riviera, we've seen in the past, is more of a driving distance based course. Um, it's really favored the bombers of the ball. Last year was a little different in the fact that it favored more of the accurate players, and obviously we still had a guy who bombed the ball win last year, but favored more accuracy based than hitting it as far as you possibly can. This year, with the weather, like you said, and how cold it's supposed to be, and it's supposed to be raining, with how wet it's going to be, it could kind of go either way. The Bombers are going to have shorter numbers in, uh, if the further you can hit it, but you're not going to get the rollout. You're not going to get, you know, those big bounces that you may get. So, really, the driving distance will be a little bit more level per se this week. So maybe accuracy will be again a key part of this course. I will say though there have been a couple changes made to the course. 18 has been lengthened, and number 4 has been lengthened. So the distance part of that golf course is going to be made known even more. Also, they added trees just for Victor Hovland on hole 12, right? I believe. Just for him, just so he can't hit it down the other fairway. But I think distance will be key this week. In that point of they've made the course longer and how cold it's going to be, it's going to play even longer than it already is. It's going to maybe favor those guys who can hit it a long way. But again, with this course, and we've seen if you can strike the ball as well as most, obviously all these guys can, but if you can be one of those top ball strikers and your accuracy can be great, this is a course that you can take advantage of that. And so maybe instead with these cold conditions and wet conditions that people can, throw it high up in the air and stop these balls and shots close to the hole. So we may see a more accuracy based approach to this week other than, just bombing it.
Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting week going to this golf course. I mean, obviously a bunch of big names. I'm pretty pumped to see how this all plays out. Um, with that being said, though, I do think it's time to make our predictions for the week.
Yeah, I think it is. You go first.
Okay, so I got me a list here. Obviously, got all my notes here, and I picked some players out. Okay, and I
Mm-hmm.
had to start really narrowing it down.
Okay.
So I got Goddard, Giddy Up on my list. I got Rory, Jake Knapp, Hideki, Fleetwood, Rose, and Scotty. So those are that's 7 guys on this list. Okay, I knocked it down to 3 after this. Okay, I put Giddy Up, Hideki, and Scotty. Um, this is where it gets interesting. I don't know who I'm going to pick. And I was
Oh.
really am very in trouble because those are my 3 guys. Scotty's just Scotty.
Yeah.
Got her up is it's just got her up. And then Hideki's driver just hasn't been great. He's struggling at the WM, but his scrambling is so good.
He's won there before.
He has. He won there 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Goddard's been playing well, and he can hit the ball a mile.
Can indeed.
And then Scotty's just freaking Scotty. He can do anything.
True that. I mean, it's definitely true. How about this? I'll give you a second to think about it. All right, and I'll give my picks for dark horses this week, and then we'll come back and ask and see if you've made a decision yet.
I have, actually.
Okay. All right. Well, then if you have, go ahead.
Give me Hideki to win this week.
All
Hideki's
right.
going to win at Riviera once again. I think
Sounds good.
his driver will be there. Okay. He's not required to keep, well, I mean, I think everywhere you go, you're kind of required to keep it in the fairway. But distance is big. His scrambling ability, I think, is going to be huge this week. And I think his iron game is going to be clutch. So I'm going to take Hideki to win this
There you
week.
go. There you go. I mean, not surprising. Like we just said, he's won there before. This is a course that definitely can fit his game, especially if his driver is just average, to say the least.
Yeah.
It's not as bad as it was in the WM. He can win this golf tournament. Let's see. I'm just gonna throw out some dark horses this week that I like, and then I'll give my pick. I want to go at, obviously, odds for this week. Scotty is favored. I don't think that'll ever change unless he falls off the planet. He is favored at plus 325 this week, so plus 100 more than usual. But plus 325. Next closest person is Rory at plus 1200, and then Tommy Fleetwood at plus 1600. But obviously, for dark horse picks, it's always plus 3,000 and more. I do not go below that. So, guys, plus 3,000 or more that I think could win this week. We're going to throw out one name, Sahith Theegala, at plus 7,500. He is way down there on the list. I mean, his short game, his wedge game is elite. It's one of the best on tour. And when he rolls the rock, he rolls it. And obviously, his iron play has been great this year so far. His driver play has been great. His overall play has been great. This last week he didn't have a bad week, but he didn't have the greatest of weeks. 2 weeks ago at the WM, he had a great week. So again, I just think if he can drive the ball good, which is something that he has struggled with, like you were saying with Hideki, then if he can put in the fairway and his irons can just be, just say average, just a little above average this week, honestly, he could very well be in the top of the leaderboard come Sunday. Then the next guy, man, I think Sepp Straka at plus 5,000. He obviously had a great week this last week, made a putt on 18 to win 900,000 or more dollars. Huge putt, and only lose by one. He's obviously a great ball striker. He hits the ball a long way. This course, like we said, has favored driving distance in the past. That could definitely be an advantage. And he strikes the ball and he putts it amazingly. So it's definitely a course that he can take advantage of, and definitely a course that he can win at. So would not be surprised to see him up there, I mean, doing anything at the top this week. Whether that's win or just place top 5, I would be surprised. He's had a great start to the year. And yeah, wouldn't be surprised if he's back up there. A couple other guys. I'm going to give 2 more. I think, surprisingly, I think Ludwig Ober at plus 4,000. Yes, he hasn't had the greatest years so far. He hasn't done really anything good. He's been at the bottom of leaderboards, but he won there last year. And only problem is that they didn't play at La Riviera last year. They actually played at Torrey Pines. But he did win the Genesis last year. So I say you can do it again. It's I don't know, man. I think it's a course that kind of fits him driving distance wise. Obviously, he hits the ball a long way. If it's cold, he can still outdrive most guys in the field. I think he'll turn it on eventually. I mean, the man's been great. He's a robot with his swing. He's gonna eventually get it kind of figured out. And I kind of like this week to be the week that happens. And then one more. It's hard to pick only one more because there's so many.
Let's
But
see if we're on the same mind track here. I hope I think I know where you're going, but
he's plus 3,000. Collin Morikawa.
was not where I was going, but it's still a great thing.
Was it Victor Hovland?
It was Matt. I honestly thought you'd go with Matt Fitzpatrick.
I thought about that one as well. I was in between a lot of them, but
And you
I'm
got
gonna
and
go.
honestly, can I add one real quick? It'll just be
Sure.
real fast. I think Jake Nass been playing pretty well this year.
Yes.
I honestly think I wouldn't be surprised if he walks away with a victory here. I know. I mean, I
Yeah.
have him on one of my guys picked to win, but he's been playing really well this season.
He has indeed. But my last pick for dark horses is going to be plus 3,000 to Collin Morikawa. The fact that he's plus 3,000 after winning this last week is kind of insane, especially with how well he hit the ball. And like we said, this course is accuracy based, especially in the cold and windy and rain. It will become accuracy based, and who can put in the fairway, even if he might not hit it as far as everybody else. Put in the fairway, put it on the green, make a few putts. That's the only problem I see this week is what his putting is going to do. Like we said, with him winning Pebble this week, he didn't putt great, but he putted good when he needed to. And it's been a problem of his putting. If his putting's on, he can have a great week and he could win the golf tournament by 10. But the problem is when his putting's not on, he does struggle. And even with how good he is at striking the ball, he does struggle. So we'll just have to wait and see whether his putting is there or not. But to pick who I think is going to win this week, man, it is so hard because there's so many good players. Obviously, anybody could win any given week. They're all that good. Scotty, again, is favored, and we've seen what he can do. And like we said earlier, if he could just put a mediocre first round, he could win any golf tournament at this point, is what it's looking like. The only thing holding him back is the first round. And the weather this week is not going to be great, so it's going to favor somebody like Scotty, who is so accurate and so good at striking the ball to win. As much as I want to take Scotty, because again, it's just hard to go against the man, and he can win. I'm not saying he can't win. I'm not going to pick him this week.
Dang, that kind of surprised me. I won't lie.
I know, surprising. I'm not going to pick him this week. I actually think, man, after it's kind of honestly, it's kind of a curveball of what I was thinking I was going to pick because I just like switched my mind about 30 seconds ago. I was going to go. I was in between going with Collin Morikawa or Chris Gotterup.
I was fixing this dude. Goddard on here on or on FanDuel. He's plus 3,500.
I know. He was he was close to being a dark horse pick for me. I was between them two because I think both of them can win, especially Collin. I think the motivation from winning this last week, and I think the rollover will be great. I think he'll have a great year. I don't think he wins here though. I think he's up there in the top of the leaderboard somewhere, but I don't think he wins. Again, he is still a dark horse pick for me. He could easily win, but it's not going to be the guy I'm going to pick. Chris Gotterup is just good, but his ball striking does let him down at some points. He's a great driver of the ball, and his putting sometimes lets him down.
Is it just me? Like when he plays around at golf, he like peaks in the first and final round, but then like round like 2 and 3 are just kind of like.
He does have his struggles in the in the
Okay, I
middle
make
of
sure
the
it wasn't
golf
like just
tournament.
me that like saw that, but
No, it does. I don't think Riviera is not a bad course for him, but I just don't feel like it fits him good enough for him to win this week. I'm actually going to go, and this is so weird, but I think he gets his second PGA Tour win this week.
I think I know where you're going.
Great ball striker. He might not hit it the furthest, but he is probably the best iron player on the PGA Tour. And I just think Riviera, again, with the weather and everything, he can hit the ball low. He can hit any shot on planet Earth that he wants.
The build-up's great. You're doing a great job.
I'm just I'm trying to build it up. I think he can win. His putting can be great. And the weather reminds me of England. So I'm going Tommy Fleetwood.
Yeah.
I'm going Tommy. I love my boy Tommy, man. Fleetwood Mac, as my mother would call him.
Your mother called him Fleetwood Mac.
I think Tommy gets it done this week, man. I want to see him win again. I think he has every chance to. Obviously, he's one of the best on tour, and I think this course fits him in the fact that if it's going to be accuracy based this week with this weather and how it is, I think again, kind of these English guys can, have played in this weather a million times. Obviously, everybody has in the tour, but it fits their game a little more. He can hit the ball low. He strikes it amazingly. If he putts, great. He is one of the hardest to beat. So my pick for this week is going to be Tommy.
Bang! I was thinking, honestly, I had the weird thought. I was like, you're either going to go with Tommy. I honestly thought you might go the Jake Knapp route for whatever reason. I was kind of sitting on that train, too. I was like, he might. That's a great pick, though. Because, see, I have one here, too, and it was kind of tempting. So, when I was boxing in my 3, he was, my first one out. He was the first one I set off aside. No, the last one. Last one I set aside. Yeah. I was going to put him in, and I was like, tempting. But I put him off. That's a good pick, though, for sure. So I've taken Hideki, you're taking Tommy Fleetwood. I'm sorry, Fleetwood Mac.
Yes.
That is awesome.
Yeah, I think it's two great picks. I think, obviously, again, anybody can win at any point of the week. And if Scotty just has a great first round, man, he could run away with the tournament. But this weather's going to be interesting to watch. This tournament's going to be fun to watch, like always, especially with the hole changes. We'll see how 18 plays a little longer, and especially 4. I think it's 40 yards longer this week. That's going to be insane to watch, especially with it being cold, rainy, and wet. I don't know. I don't know how that hole's going to play. They might only play it all the way back, maybe once, maybe 2 times. But we'll see. It'll be a great tournament to watch. But I think that's all we have tonight.
It is all we have tonight. Shout out. I want to give a shout out. Quinn Hughes, you're a dog. Sweden loses in overtime to USA. Quinn Hughes, absolute sniper. Beats Jacob Markstrom on the glove side. And guess what? We play Slovakia on Friday. 12 o'clock. Yes, I think.
Yeah. Well, hey, we'll talk about that tomorrow, because tomorrow we'll have a podcast episode, and I'll be back for an actual podcast episode this week.
See, you mean you.
Well, yeah. Sadly, it might just be me.
Or we may record Friday. We could record Friday.
Yeah, we'll see. It might just be me again. But if not, either way, we will have an episode either tomorrow or Friday. We will get that out. We'll talk about a lot. Well,
college baseball for sure. Get you ready for this weekend series and recap. Yeah. There's some great series this weekend, man. Watched a lot of it. I don't want to, embarrass you or anything, but what happened against the Blazers?
Yeah, all right. We're going to save that for tomorrow. I think that's all we have for tonight. We'll see y'all either tomorrow or Friday, and make sure always to follow us on our socials, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and then go watch the podcast and videos we post on there on Spotify, YouTube, or Amazon Music. Share those, like them, and all the above, and we will see y'all tomorrow or Friday.
Don't forget about the Threads account too that we never post to.
That too. All right, we'll see y'all.
All right.